Sometimes I sing to them even.
Do you sing to them? What do you sing?
Just a lullaby or something to make them grow a little.
I bet it works. I bet it works. They're like your children.
Yeah, like a million little kids, you can say.
A million little kids. My goodness. It's like you're stepping into a jungle. If you couldn't grow vegetables, fruits in the middle of a desert, then I've got to be able to produce a carrot in my back garden. I'll accept the challenge. Dubai was founded in 1833, then just a tiny little fishing village on the edge of the desert, simply a resting place for Bedouins. Fast forward nearly 200 years and Dubai is a jewel in the Arabian Peninsula and one of the 7 Emirates of the UAE, famous around the world as the go-to luxury tourist destination. Home to more 5-star hotels than anywhere else on the planet, where locals once dive for pearls, they now shop in luxury malls and dine in the finest Michelin star restaurants. But if you think you know Dubai, that this is all the city is about, then I have news for you. I'm Kate Garraway, and in this series, I'm going to meet people that will open your eyes and your mind to another Dubai, the one that is unheard, to show you what this city and its residents are all about. A place where East meets West, where women can and do lead the way, where science is saving resources and selflessness is saving lives. We'll meet people who want to turn what you think about this city on its head and tell a totally different story about Dubai and its amazing people. Dubai is one of Asia's sunniest cities, basking in 3,500 hours of sunlight every year. No surprise then that this place is so popular with tourists and sun seekers. And while sunshine here is plentiful, other resources such as water are more precious, needing to be carefully managed and protected. Given its desert climate and the challenges it faces, you might be forgiven for thinking not much in the way of vegetation can flourish here. And yet, if you know where to look, green shoots are plentiful. So how does this city, built on sand, grow in the desert? Dubai is a city that's sunny all year round with limited rainfall. It's also a city on a mission. With the aim of hitting net zero carbon emissions and 100% clean energy by 2050, it's investing in green initiatives such as one of the largest solar parks in the world, already supplying nearly 250,000 homes in the city. And as we find out in this episode, Dubai's population of over 3 million residents, young and old, are playing their own part too. But Dubai's drive isn't just about targets, technology, and initiatives. It's also about attitude, changing the way people think about and interact with the environment around them. And that shift in mindset is starting at a very young age. I've come to Arbor School, attended by around 600 pupils from the ages of 3 to 17. With its biodomes, beehives and botany, it blends the British curriculum with a green-focused approach to education. I'm meeting its sustainability lead, Susie Fisher.
This is one of our biodomes.
Yeah.
This particular one you'll see is very different to the other two. This is set up as more, not a typical classroom, I wouldn't call it that, but more of a teaching space that we use for, in particular, you'll see some of these topics up here for ecoliteracy lessons.
So by creating these biodomes, you're bringing nature into the classroom, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. So we have these dome spaces and some outdoor spaces too. I just have to let you know that we do have free roaming animals. So just watch your step and enjoy.
Right. Thank you very much.
Through you will see this is a slightly different dome.
My goodness. It's like you're stepping into a jungle. Literally, like we've stepped into another world, haven't we?
Yeah, it's
surrounded by foliage.
Quite special, isn't it? And this is
the
the
bird
effect.
song.
This is the effect that we are hoping for every time people come through and students come through, that they really feel that wow, that immediate calmness, because all you hear in here is our little canary at the top and a few other little birds. Oh, he's really showing off.
Really showing off.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello back to you.
So we have plenty of plants and we have a few free-roaming animals. So I'm just looking around to see if our bearded dragon might make an appearance for us.
And how are the animals with the kids?
Great, it's
Are
the
they?
best. So when you imagine over here, we have a class sitting, the bearded dragon will often come over because that's his favorite spot to also sit in the sun and soak up the warmth. And so he will often actually just sit in on a lesson, and it's very, very, very sweet. But yeah, it's just a very special place.
It's very
And this
special.
is the dome that we try. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hello. I mean, this is very different from any classroom I've seen in the UK. The children must love it.
They really do. And it's just, it inspires so many things. You know, it doesn't have to be equaliteracy lessons per se. You know, you could sit in here.
Equaliteracy, just so in case people know, it's learning about the environment.
Right.
And literacy, so that they understand how everything works rather than just learning about climate change or something. It's how everything works together.
Yes, and being able to use that knowledge, that understanding, to apply it to what you know. It's just a great environment to be in, to learn.
I mean, maths was my worst subject at school. The idea of trying to get my head around calculus by trickling water and fish and beautiful plants, that would have made a big difference to me.
We're trying to inspire even the really little ones here too. And, you know, if you do your maths lesson here, and even if it's just to count the fish, you know, huge difference too.
And you understand that maths is a part of life then as well, rather than just that scary subject that Mrs. Brown teaches at 9 o'clock on a Thursday.
You sound traumatized.
Still got PTSD. No, I think it's also just that fact that, you know, once you give a label to something, then it frightens children, doesn't it? But when it becomes organic and the other things they love.
As well as these fascinating living classrooms, they also have biofarms and even beekeeping lessons.
Once a week, we take in a group of students, sometimes a whole class, to check on our arbor bees. So
now, would you mind if I joined you this time?
Yeah.
Can I come along as well? I feel like I need to get something on.
Well, it's something we prepared earlier.
I need to be protected, don't I? Why are we not allowed to eat bananas? And apparently it makes them angry or something.
The smell, like, they think they're being attacked.
Okay. Well, we don't want that.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a queen bee there. That one's a green one. There, right there.
Did you find it?
No, it's on the other side. It's on the other side. Other side. There it is.
Oh, yeah, well done. We have the queen. Oh, good job, guys.
Where's
Super
the
job.
queen?
The queen has
Which
a
is
green...
the one with the green dot.
Green
the one
dot?
with the green dot. Oh, she's gone on the other side now.
This kind of education is such an interesting way of encouraging kids to be engaged and curious with nature and their world, and it seems to have a real effect.
When we go to GCSE, we have 2 extra subjects. So we have English, Math and Science, but 2 other mandatory courses we do are Global Perspectives and Global Impact Certificate.
So our topic right now is on energy and energy production and consumption, and how to either mitigate that or help bring it further in terms of renewable energy to help the decline of fossil fuels while still keeping people's livelihoods intact.
Many people are into ecology irrespective of the climate because the UAE has many different programs. So they really try to get the community engaged in eco-literacy. Say, for example, Expo that happened a few years ago. There was a sustainability pavilion, the Museum of the Future. The amount of initiatives they just keep putting out to get people engaged. So you keep having opportunities and you can keep growing.
Anything we learn about the ecology of the UAE and the world, we need to input it to our outside world. So we often turn it into a passion. Even if it doesn't start with a passion, it often does end up with a passion.
With a passion.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see the youngsters here from a really young age just taking on that shift in attitude, and you can see how they're going to go out into the world and make their own impact in small ways and big ways too.
If you want to grow in Dubai, you've got to grow smart, making the most out of every last drop of water. Just ask Mohammed Aisawi, owner of My Farm and master manipulator of moisture.
Mohammed is dedicated to creating a more sustainable and healthy future through urban farming. I'm meeting him at the Etihad Museum, where he regularly hosts workshops encouraging people to start planting their own produce.
Now, a lot of people are going to think you're a little bit crackers trying to farm in the desert. It must be the most inhospitable place to try and grow produce, particularly as you were born in the south of France, you lived in the south of France, a place made famous for how fertile it is. So what brought you here?
I grew up in a small farm. My grandfather was farmer. The first time I came to the UAE, it was in 2016. I visited a friend, and of course it's challenging because this climate is not easy. But I was engineer, so my trick is to use the technologies which are safe for us and the environment to make it happen in desert climate.
So you're fundamentally farming in the desert.
Yes.
How do you get the water in? How do you hold it? How do you use it?
With the engineering background, I do have many technologies. I can open and control the irrigation system from my app.
What? You're sitting here talking to me and you're
exactly.
crawling the water on the farm?
We can do it now. So we have the GPS. We can connect with the farm.
Yeah.
Connect with the farm and select the sensors and act directly with the application.
So you can control it to make sure the plants are getting enough water, but nothing is being wasted.
Exactly.
Right. Let's see, as they say, the proof of the pudding, the proof of the farm. Show me some of the things that you've got, because of course you're also a beekeeper.
Exactly. This is a black summer honey.
The richness of that, it's barely moving when you tip it. I imagine the flavour is phenomenal.
So we need to protect the ecosystem and create a kind of partnership with it. When we harvest...
now this is the wax that often gets thrown away, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
People used to do candles with it, but do you know what we are doing with this one?
No, what are you doing?
So we are doing the beeswax cream.
Wow.
So this is one of the best sunscreen protection.
Sunscreen? I thought you were going to say moisturizer.
As well, but keep in mind that we are in a desert climate. So we use it as well with our staff at the farm.
Does it block the sun?
Yeah, for the whole day.
How incredible.
Use it in the morning, it's going to protect your skin. And we were the first doing this recipe actually at the farm for ourselves. Yeah.
But I see you've got some other products here. Tell me about what you brought along.
So we started the project also with the wheat that we grow in the desert. So
you can grow wheat in the desert?
Yeah, actually.
How do you do that?
So we build the soil. Actually, everything comes from the soil. So we do at the farm, we have our own animals.
Yes.
We collect the green waste.
Right.
So imagine that we
So basically what we would call the manure.
The manure.
Yes.
We grow the food for our animals.
Yes.
We feed them with the fresh grass. They produce waste. The waste is going to the compost area.
Okay.
And after a few months, basically 8 to 12 months, we get this compost to feed the soil feed the plant feed the animals, and again.
Now, how long would that take you then to improve the soil for the desert?
Actually, at my farm, it took us 3 years to get an amazing soil, much better than what we had in France.
No.
Really.
Wow.
That's a very
Just
strong...
by thinking of using what you've got.
Yeah, the idea is to build the soil, and the soil is going to feed the plant. So we don't use fertilizers.
Yes. I feel that's a challenge there. If you can grow vegetables, fruits in the middle of a desert, then I've got to be able to produce a carrot in my back garden. I'll accept the challenge. You see? You're changing minds.
You know, I believe if you can grow in the desert, you can grow almost everywhere around the world.
I'm going back home.
Thank you.
To start to try and grow things in my fertile British soil based on your principles. Because now I know I've got no excuse. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you again.
It's a fine balance between the rapid growth of the city and the need to preserve the resources and protect its ecosystems. The city's investing in projects like Dubai Reef. As part of the initiative, 20,000 purpose-built reef modules will be deployed across Dubai waters to attract and stimulate sea life. As well as organisations like the Emirates Marine Environmental Group, who've planted millions of mangrove trees and are helping preserve the sea turtle population. We know plastic can be a big problem for marine life and is a huge issue globally when it comes to the environment. So people across Dubai are being encouraged to cut down on single-use plastic with a citywide initiative called Dubai Can.
So you'll see these dotted around the city, and it's to encourage people to reduce their use of single-use plastic, essentially. You get very thirsty here, and you could just come along. If you hover your water bottle underneath, it fills up with water, and then you're good to go.
Tourism is such a huge part of the city, so initiatives like the Dubai Sustainable Tourism Stamp recognise hotels that are doing their best to change their culture and working practices toward a sustainable future for its tourism industry.
Dubai is also actively working on reducing its reliance on food imports by prioritising locally sourced food.
This is UNS Farm, based in the heart of the city. It uses 80% less water and 90% less land than regular farming. This is one of many vertical farms in the city and is seen as one of the answers to Dubai's agricultural dilemma. Here to show me around is Executive Director Melhem.
Oh, wow. This is a big place. So what have we got here?
So we're in our zone 3 at the moment. This is
Okay.
our main production area where we grow up to 1 ton of a variety of lettuces.
1 ton.
1 ton.
So at any one time, you've got a ton of lettuces
Every
growing.
day, 365 days of the year.
Lettuces don't weigh very much. That is a lot of lettuce.
Yes, it is. So it's being supplied to all of the major supermarkets, hotels, restaurants, you name it in the UAE.
So what do they need to grow? They have water with the nutrients.
They have our special LED lighting, which is simulating the sunlight. Of course,
Yeah.
sunlight is required for plants because it's what leads to photosynthesis and the growing process.
And before you did this, you would have had to have shipped all of those vegetables, lettuces, whatever you're growing, in from outside the UAE. And that's because you just don't have the soil and the conditions to grow here
You're
normally.
completely right, yeah.
How does it make it better for the environment?
So we're actually 95% water saving compared to a traditional agriculture. We only use about around 2 liters of water per head of lettuce, which is around 200 to 300 grams. So we're extremely efficient, and our output per square meter is almost twice that of a traditional farm. So in half the area, we're growing twice as amount of food.
Very, very clever. Come on, little lettuces, grow. Do you talk to them?
Sometimes I sing to them even.
Do you sing to them? What do you sing?
Just a lullaby or something to make them grow a little.
I bet it works. I bet it works. They're like your children.
Yeah, like a million little kids, you can say.
A million little kids. You're a dad of a million.
Dubai has identified this type of hydroponic farming as a key ingredient in cutting the amount of imported produce into the region. As well as lettuce, they produce microgreens, herbs, and even edible flowers.
Wow. This is amazing.
Welcome to the flower room.
You've got so many flowers here.
Yes.
It looks so beautiful. And the prettiness, is that part of it, or is that just for fun?
You're exactly right. So we do have very demanding customers who treat their dishes as artwork. So we just try to add some color and some design to the plates with our edible flowers. This is an oxalis flower.
Oxalis, yeah.
So these have a lovely flavor profile. I won't tell you what the flavor is. I'll let you
You're
try it offhand. I'll let you know.
testing me. Okay. That's really nice. It doesn't taste like when you have really strong lemon, but it's just got that, whew,
Yeah.
that's so nice. So would you use that in salads?
So this actually paired with a number of different applications.
Yeah.
With cold dishes, something a bit more earthy, meaty flavor. It adds a nice change of flavor, like a small surprise.
Love that. But I want to take this back to the UK now, but that's kind of destroying the whole point of what you're doing,
It's
isn't
only
it?
for local. We're actually in almost a 20-kilometer radius of all of our major customers. So we're extremely central. We're in the heart of the city.
Well, it's been absolutely fascinating. It's kind of like a sort of bit of a miracle, really, to be in the middle of the desert, effectively.
It's been my
To
pleasure.
walk into somewhere like this and find these sort of delicate, important plants for you being grown locally. It's just brilliant and beautiful too.
It was lovely having you as well, and you're always welcome to come
Thank
around
you.
and pick up a few of the
Oh,
birds too.
come in and just come in when I'm making my
For a
dinner.
small snack. Yeah.
I know, yeah, exactly. This is so impressive. It's got around the impossible task of growing food in this super harsh environment. And already they're supplying so many restaurants, supermarkets, and I wouldn't be surprised if you came back here in a few months or even a couple of years and there will be so many of these in Dubai. But also, I think there's something quite special about what Dubai is doing. They're doing it in all different ways, and we've seen better use of resources with Mohammed, using clever technology that Dubai is famous for, and an increasing amount of a changing of a mindset.
In the next episode, I'll be exploring some of the humanitarian efforts in the city and discover a community driven by the ethos of giving.
It's a beautiful thing. You see strangers coming together. You might have a CEO, you might have a teacher, you might have a child. They all work together. We bring the food into the mosque, we set it up, and then we give.
And people from all over the city came to take part in that. And I thought that was a really nice thing.
But usually all love relationship, we always hope that it will continue forever. I love this job, but this is the only love that I hope that one day it will stop.
Click subscribe for our weekly episodes, and you can also listen on all podcast platforms.